When it comes down to day trading, we're always focusing on different time frames. We're focusing on different candle patterns. We're focusing on all of these different indicators all over the chart. We're trying to figure out exactly when we should enter a trade, when we should exit a trade, what's going on with the stock, what is the trend. But how many times have you actually looked at the clock before entering and exiting a trade? I'm going to talk about why I'm adding the clock to my layout, my platform, and why I'm focusing on the clock for entering and exiting trades. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this time clock indicator, but every platform has it. So let me talk about what my focus is here and why I'm looking at the clock when entering and exiting a trade. I'm going to talk about it right here in this video, so make sure you guys stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Patrick here, and today we're talking about time. Now, obviously, everyone's always focusing on different indicators, the VWAP, the EMA. Everyone's talking about different indicators or talking about different time frames, when you should buy, when you should sell. But who is actually talking about why time matters and why you should be keeping an eye on the overall candle structure based on the clock? Let's just say I want to jump in on this move here on SONN. So for example, let's say we're looking for a pull back to the VWAP there after it pushes above the VWAP. We had a little halt and then it pulls back. Now, thing to focus on here is we have this 1 minute candle right here that broke down. So you can see that had a triangle there. This candle broke down there. Now, one thing to focus on here is obviously when we're trading the 1 minute time frame, we are focused on where these candles are closing, where they're opening, the overall price structure. If I'm looking for a breakout, obviously I want to see a 1 minute candle that's pushing higher. The open and the close is based on the price of the stock, like this stock right here. You can see it opened right there and it closed down here at that point because that's why it's a red candle. That means it's going down in price. You know, opening here, closing down here. That's a 1 minute candle. 1 minute of information price action that we are looking at inside of that candle. Candle opened at that basically 688 area. And then for 1 minute, the price moved down and touched the VWAP, and it closed bouncing off of the VWAP there. So we bounced off the VWAP a little bit there. I'm not going to buy at this point, obviously, because I'm not going to buy just the pullback to the VWAP just because it's pulling back. Now, that's just not how we trade. We're looking for momentum. We're looking for a reason to jump in on action, on momentum. You can see the next candle actually ended up opening. It opened right there at that kind of level, that 650 level, that it bounced off of the VWAP. This candle closed right there. So I'm always looking at where candles are closing, where they're opening. That's obviously very important. Like I said, this candle closed at 650 right there on that line. This next candle opened at 650. It pushes up, but as you can see, had a little bit of selling pressure and getting stuck below that 688, which was obviously that resistance. Next candle opens, closes, but you can see a lot of the pressure, a lot of the buying pressure was on the bottom side of this candle where that resistance there was trying to hold it down. And you can see sellers trying to then push this and sell it off. Now, let's say I'm at this point, I'm like, okay, I want to enter. I want to get in on this trade. I want to see a breakout. I want to see a push. So this candle here is going, you can see this candle here opens at 667. And it closes at 693. But what's the big difference between these two candles here? We got this candle, we got this candle. What's the big difference? The big difference is the buying pressure on this candle is on the bottom of this candle. So it's opening and it's closing at the bottom of the range. Remember, the candle itself, the wick itself is the range of that time frame, of that 1 minute time frame. This candle, like I said, it opened at 667. The low was 650. So again, guess what? That 650 area held right there. So that's obviously bullish. That's a good sign. But again, when do I want to be entering this trade? When do I want to be entering this trade? There's two ways of doing this. You got two entries based on the time frame, based on your overall strategy here. Now, this candle closed strong at the top of that range there. So once that candle closes strong there, I'm watching the clock. If the clock is at 26:06, I know that there's going to be, 40 seconds, 50 seconds until this candle closes. So we got almost a minute of time to wait to see what this price action is going to do. Now, as we get closer, so as this clock is getting closer to that 1 minute candle closing, I'm then focusing on where is the buying, where is the price action. Now, on this next candle, like I said, we got all that buying pressure at the top of the candle. We are now pushing above this little bit of resistance there. That's where I want to be buying at. Now, it's saying 55. Okay, I want to buy this candle. I just want to buy because we're getting the push above that resistance. I want to jump in there as that candle closes because I'm seeing strength and I'm seeing that we're holding that 650 area, that momentum. If I'm looking to buy the dip on a upward momentum stock like this, if this is trending higher, it's pushing up there, I'm looking to buy the dip as that new candle opens. Like this candle right here, this candle opens, right? This candle right here, it opened at 714. It dipped down to 691 and then pushed back up there to the high of 735, and it closed at 733. So basically closing at the top. But as you can see, the range on this candle, it opens here, it pulls back. You can see the buyers step in there. Okay, now it's 10:28. I've got 50 seconds for this candle to close. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to buy the dip. I'm going to try to buy the dip as this candle opens. I'm going to put my dip order kind of in this area here, looking for that pullback to the whole dollar, that $7 there. I'm looking to buy at the lower end, I'm looking to buy at the opening of that candle, seeing that we're going green, 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 pushing higher on that move. So if I'm looking to buy the dip, like I said, if I'm looking to buy the dip on this overall trend higher, I'm looking to buy as the candle is opening because I know this candle closed pretty strong right there. So I'm hoping for a little bit of a pullback. I can jump in at the bottom of that range on that candle and then look for that squeeze higher. The big thing, the really big focus here, no matter what, the big focus is looking to see where these candles are opening and closing, right? If I'm looking at the clock and this candle has about 30 seconds left on it, 30 seconds left on this 1 minute candle, and all I'm seeing is red, red, red. The price is moving down. The price is moving down. It's red for quite some time. Then I'm looking at it like, okay, well, this is not where I want to be buying at. I don't want to be buying the dip. Just because we got this big red candle and it's pulling back to the VWAP doesn't mean I want to be buying it just because it's pulling back and it's a new candle. I want to wait for that confirmation first off. But I'm really just focusing on candle structures, right? Candle looks like this, right? 10 seconds left on the clock for me to jump in, and the price action is pushing up. It's pushing up. Everything's buy. We opened here. We're about to close. We've got 3 seconds left. Maybe I'm jumping in for this next move higher. A lot of times what I have seen is that when these candles close, let's say this candle closes, if this is the close right there, that's the close. A lot of times when you have all this buying pressure, when all this buying pressure is happening, you have all this buying pressure, right? We close, we're pushing. Most of the time, I mean, I don't want to say most time, but when that momentum is on your side, this next candle, it might have a little bit of a pullback, but in general, most of the time, this next candle is going to want to squeeze up, especially right when it reopens or right when it opens. So if this candle is closing, you got 10 seconds left, you can jump in here and buy on this next candle. We squeeze up, that first 30 seconds maybe, this candle squeezes up there. A lot of times when these new candles open, when a new candle opens with a new time frame, when that new candle opens there, you'll get those kind of bigger moves. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on that mentally. I'm looking at the clock, where is my next 5 minute candle going to open at? Where is my next 1 minute candle going to open at? Where are we at with the overall price structure and the overall action based on the candles? So there's a lot of information to learn by reading the candles and kind of making sure that you're not buying as the candle is closing to the downside. When these candles are closing to the downside, it's a something you want to keep an eye on. You want to keep an eye on it. This might be a pullback. When the candle's closing with all that pressure to the downside, this might be an indicator that the stock is pulling back at that point. So keep an eye on the clock. Keep an eye on the clock. Keep an eye on it. There you go.